This is Carla's grandfather. Grandfather is John Graber Stroberg. He actually ran a bar in Crystal Falls, Minnesota, and we have a photo of that and a drawing of it. I've actually made of that, but I don't have it here before me right now. It's in the other room. Other than that, I don't have any further details. I never met the gentleman, but this is the picture that Carla had somehow came in contact with.
Got it.
Adjacent to him is his wife, which is Carla's grandmother, and her name is Elda, E-L-D-A, Elizabeth. Again, they were married and lived in Crystal Falls, Michigan. She was born in 1868 and died in 1901. One other thing I can tell you here, in terms of the grandparents, as a result of the death of his wife, which is Elda, he remarried, and his new wife's name is Emilia, E-M-E-L-I-A. I did meet her in Crystal Falls, but I don't know what her death, I don't know when she died. She has naturally passed away. And I think this is Helma, aunt of Carla's. I'll continue with Carla. This is her parents. In this case, Carla's parents, her father's name was John Fritzof, F-R-I-T-I-O-F, Anderson. He was born in 1890 and died in 1938. I did not meet him, naturally, but that is her mother and father. Her mother I met, very definitely.
You met her.
But her father died at a young age. Her name was Edna, okay, and she remarried. And when I met her first, she had already remarried, and she had married a gentleman by the name of Halls, H-A-L-L-S. And I met him, I met the two of them. In this case, I would classify her as one who was an excellent cook. Bakery. I loved the bakery that she made. It was lovely, tasty. And she also prepared very, very good meals. And she was, I would say, in her normal life, she was, should I say, easy to be with, to talk with her, okay. Later in her years, she became somewhat reserved, and I would say in some respects had some dementia, and she ended up dying in a nursing home in this case Norway, Michigan. Yeah, Adna was born in 1896 and died in 1973. Now, in terms of my family, we have here is my birth mother. My birth mother, her name was Maxine Elliott Ice, I-C-E. And she actually was born in February 27th in 1912. Now, as far as my parents, this is my dad and my stepmother. And my dad, Francis Marion Rumsey, and then my stepmother was Eula Rumsey. My parents, my dad was primarily a farmer, working, although he did work in the coal mines in West Frankfort, but he primarily, I would classify him more as a farmer producing some grain, but primarily I would say vegetables and things of that nature, which he would also, with his horse and buggy, would come around in the summertime into the West Frankfort area and selling the product on the street. But in the later years, he became more involved in terms of industrial and worked for a railroad company, in the mining country, coal mining area, and then eventually actually worked in the at the coal mine itself. I think in this case I was very fortunate. My birth mother died when I was 3 years old. My dad remarried her and when I was 5, and she raised me and treated me as one of her regular sons. Okay, so I was very fortunate to have a birth mother and a stepmother that was, I think, super and very much took care of me very well. She made sure that I participated in the church, and through her I became a Christian. Although I must say my mother's side of the family, the Ice family, that although we don't have pictures here of that her family, they were Baptist, and my great-grandfather was a Baptist pastor.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but again, as far as what they actually did in their life, I don't really have that days, because once my dad remarried, and my stepmother and he were my family, I didn't have a lot of contact with my mother's family after that. Okay, as I became adult and was married, I maintained contact with some of my mother's sisters, and I got more acquainted with them in my adult life than I did in my growing up life. My growing up was with my stepmother and dad. Above here is my grandparents. And my grandfather is George Douglas Rumsey. He was born in, that's actually September the 12th, 1860. And he died in June the 1st in 42. I do remember him, and he had a farm in West Frankfort. And after my mother died, in this case, my dad and I actually spent years with them in my growing up. Not a lot of years, a few years, because my dad, as I say, when I was 5, 2 years later, remarried. But those 2 years, I remember spending time with my grandparents, with my dad. And in this case, my grandmother, her name is Rebecca Baker Rumsey, and she was born in August of 1870 and died in October of 1938. I remember her when I was growing up with them, but that's my grandparents. That's all the pictures that I have here of family, and I'm hoping that the information we're providing here, that the family itself can have access to that so that they can know about it, because I don't think that we have any plans to retain the pictures, but we want to retain the videos so they can be available for family in the future.